Good morning, everyone in attendance at Nice Restaurant in Windhoek, and those of you watching us around the world. Sounds cool when the boxing guys say it, so I thought I'd sneak that in for you. There is such excitement when the Nedbank Desert Dash starts hotting up, and there is just a special energy to this event. We have some very special guests in attendance, and I'll be introducing them to you as we go along. Let me just acknowledge the presence of the Executive Director in the Ministry of Sport, Youth and National Service, Dr. Audrin Mate. I know the Executive Director in the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Mr. Theophilus Nitila, will join us as well. The support that we're always so fortunate to receive from them is certainly a significant part of why the Nedbank Desert Dash as an experience is unrivaled. Right from the outset, a word of thanks to all of our stakeholders, our brilliant co-sponsors, cycling communities from all over the world, our media friends, and literally just every single person who makes of the Dash the Nedbank Desert Dash. We have some key insights to share with you, so let's get cracking with our program. First up is Nedbank Namibia's Executive for Retail and Business Banking and a multiple Dasher himself, Richard Meeks.
Good morning. Dr. Audrin Mate, Executive Director at the Ministry of Sport, Youth and National Service. Mr. Freddie Muya, good friend, Chief Administrator of the Namibian Sports Commission. Our richly appreciated co-sponsors of the Nedbank Desert Dash and our partners. My Nedbank Namibia colleagues, specifically Mr. Yerke van Graan, who aims to finish in the top 5 of the solo dash this year. No pressure, Yerke, but I've got a significant amount of money on you, so just make it happen, please. Our media friends, ladies and gentlemen. In 1986, Nedbank Namibia's dedication to the sport of cycling began when we delivered the first competitive bicycle race in Namibia, which attracted more than 80 cyclists at the time. I think nowadays at the Nedbank Challenge we get something like 800 cyclists. I'm pretty sure Leander and young Greg Chase from Vic and Fox were in that original race. They're certainly old enough. Today, the Nedbank Desert Dash alone attracts over 1,000 cyclists. Namibia's developing reputation as a competent host of major cycling events is evidenced by its staging of International Cycling Union-sanctioned races. And as you may know, earlier this year, 5 Namibian cyclists qualified to compete in cycling codes at the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games, which were held in 2021. This is testimony to the fact that Namibian cycling has come a long way since 1986, and we've gained well-deserved recognition on a continental and worldwide scale. At Nedbank, we are certainly pleased to have contributed to this journey, and we do it with sincerity. However, Nedbank Desert Dash extends beyond sports development. Each year, we've been thrilled to see so many participants, as well as their friends and family, that make the trek to Swakopmund to support the cyclists. A few days before and after the event, hospitality places at the coast are literally bursting at the seams. The Nedbank Desert Dash also helps to increase the support rendered to small businesses in Swakopmund, such as adventure tours. It says they're massage parlors. Selma, you're trying to set me up. Massage parlors amongst many other small businesses, I may add. It even raises the potential for butchery outlets at the coastal town during this annual event. Who writes this stuff? We are confident that the race has a significant and wide-ranging influence on the economy of Swakopmund, and that it provides an ideal opportunity to promote Namibia as a fascinating tourist destination to the international cycling communities. And I'm sure our good friend, the Chief Executive of the Swakopmund Municipality, Mr. Archie Benjamin, is online, and I'd like to personally thank him from Nedbank, and as well as the co-sponsors, for the fantastic support that the municipality and their partners in Swakopmund provide to the Desert Dash. Cycling is beneficial on a variety of levels. Apparently, it improves physical fitness, mental health, and brings people together in an active community. At Nedbank, we are persistent to make a positive impact on our communities as well as to the environment. The Nedbank Desert Dash is simply a fantastic platform for us to do this, and it also enables conversation about environmental issues in our country. In fact, I'm just going to pause there. There's been some interesting social media activity over the last couple of days around the corrugation and parts of the route, and the fact that, Dr. Evil, Leander Borg, has increased the length of the Desert Dash, and people are seeing it as this challenge that they cannot conquer, and so on and so forth. I can guarantee you, we have solo riders that finish the Desert Dash inside 14, 15 hours. So it's clearly possible. The second point is that it is the longest single-stage race in the world. And it's important that we maintain that status. It attracts cyclists globally. They don't come here for a 30, 40, 50-kilometer single-track race and a beer. They come here for a significant challenge. And we will continue to make this race a fantastic challenge. The last point I want to make is that the road is in a particular condition today. It will not be in that condition when the Desert Dash comes along. So have faith, train hard, and I'm sure you will enjoy the experience once you get on your bikes. Every year we endeavor to raise the level of this iconic bucket list event. I believe that this year's event, on the threshold of which we stand today, is an immense honor, considering the extraordinary circumstances we find ourselves in with the COVID-19 pandemic. And again, I'm just going to pause and thank the organizers. The work that Leander, Manny Heymans, Johan Pretorius put in just to get this event off the ground. Last year was a phenomenal experience despite the pandemic that we found ourselves in. Yes, there were some issues. There will always be issues. But the fact that the guys are able to stage this race on the back of what is short-term planning. Nobody knew in June, July what the situation, the government regulations, etc., would look like. So to Leander and the team, thank you very much. I appreciate the stress that you've gone through in ensuring we put an event on this year. Now more than ever, the value and freedom of the outdoors is something everybody holds dear. It is a privilege and a joy to travel and to gather and be reminded of the beauty of our country and life itself. Therefore, as we officially launch the Nedbank Desert Dash 2021 today, let us never take for granted the true gift of being able to cycle through what would some describe as treacherous terrain. That's certainly been a word that we've seen on social media recently. Battling the wind, the sunshine, and the rain. Let's hope for the rain. And being able to make it to the other side through sheer absolute willpower. As always, we endeavor to present our proverbial Nedbank Namibia hospitality and generosity to participants and their support teams. We are confident that we will succeed in this task, thanks to the helpfulness and willingness of all of our event partners, which include the great Ndongo Toyota, the fantastic Super Spa, Bokomo, the greatest bakers in Namibia, Hubertus tells me, whom I thank honestly and from the bottom of my heart. We really can't get this event off the ground and maintain it at the levels it is without the fantastic support of our co-sponsors and, dare I say, partners in this event. Thank you for buying into this great vision and for supporting it. Not only us, but Namibia at large. Together we are a powerful force of positive change. Let us be reminded that it is our collective responsibility to ensure that we are all safe out there by protecting ourselves and our communities. I can assure you that Nedbank Namibia and the Desert Dash race organizers are taking all of the necessary precautions and steps to comply with current health and safety guidelines, and Leander will talk to this a little bit later. Lastly, I have one final task to do today, and that is to wish everyone who is participating in the Nedbank Desert Dash 2022 all the best in their final preparations. Keep it off social media. Keep it a secret. We don't want to know how fit you are. We want to see you on the day. The Nedbank Desert Dash is noted to be a bucket list experience. It will be a first for many and a repeat event for others. The Nedbank Desert Dash puts you in a league as you join a special circle of people from near and far who have managed to conquer this adventurous quest. The Nedbank Desert Dash is a test. It is mental, it is physical, and it takes you beyond what you thought was possible. May you take on this journey with courage and perseverance. We cannot wait to welcome you on the other side and share a beer with Yeke van Graan whilst he aims to gain a podium position. He just WhatsApped me and said not top 5, top 3 he's actually aiming for. And very best of luck with that, Yeke. And from Nedbank Namibia, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Richard. I know there was talk at some point of increasing the podium positions for the men's race to about 17, because I know Richard was also thinking about starting to cycle, and podium positions is what we aim for. So next up we have the Executive Director in the Ministry of Youth, National Service Sports. At that time I know I got the sequence wrong. Dr. Audrin Matea. Audrin, please.
Good morning. I was told about the podium positions. I have an old bicycle at home that I'm going to beat up as well, so I can join the team and see how we can make this event better. Director of Ceremonies, Nedbank Executive for Retail and Business Banking, Richard Meeks. The organizing team is represented by Lema, representatives from the partner sponsors, Indongo Toyota, Bokomo, Super Spa, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me pleasure to speak at this momentous launch of the Nedbank Desert Dash. As best I know, cycling is one of the popular sports in the world, with Tour de France being the third most watched game on television, behind the FIFA World Cup and the Olympic Games. If you did not know that, now you know. We also know the benefits that cycling brings to all of us. First, as a means of leisure, but also as a mode of transport. I think it begins mostly as a mode of transport, then it evolved into a leisure, because they realized more can accrue out of that. We know that because of that importance, I think, therefore, cycling must get the requisite recognition that it deserves. The Minister of Sports, Youth and National Service, therefore, commends Nedbank and the partnering sponsors who I have already mentioned, Indongo Toyota, Super Spa, Bokomo, but also the Namibia Sports Commission, represented by Mr. Muya here, the Cycling Federation, and the many volunteers who really make the sport accessible to everyone else. In recent years, advanced sporting nations have been making giant strides due to corporate sponsorship in their sports federations. It is for that reason that the ministry also encourages other companies to pick up a code that are affiliated to the Sports Commission, so that we can move towards professionalizing sports as espoused by government policy. The 373-kilometer event will serve as a major boost, as Richard has already mentioned, especially to Swakopmund. That's going to be the host town, hosted by Ming. That's where the podium will be erected. We know that the numbers have been down because of the COVID that has affected not just our country, but the entire global community. I therefore urge the cycling community to use as many facilities as they can in Swakopmund. I'm sure my friend Archie's this will be music to his ears, because I think Swakopmund, the economic downturn has gone slightly lower than it was in the previous year. I think all of us have a role to ensure that we play our part in doing that. As a ministry, we are pleased to see that the event has continued to attract international cyclists. With all the travel restrictions, I'm delighted to hear that this year, the race will see participants from South Africa, Malawi, United States, Germany, Portugal, France, Britain, Serbia, Canada, Ireland, Belgium, and Botswana, among other countries. To that end, I'm indeed delighted to see how resilient both participants and race organizers have been in finding means to host this event while also complying with the COVID regulations. I learned that the Nedbank team has been in constant touch with Mr. Muya's team to ensure that we comply with the national sporting regulations. The regulations are there for a reason, that is to safeguard the lives of every Namibian and also visitors who will be coming to our country. I'm glad to hear that the race has continued to aid many charities in the country over the years. Charities are selected on an annual basis, as several cyclists will be riding to raise both funds and awareness for the important causes, such as the Legacy of Love, Rosewood Academy, and the Devon Sport Trust, among others. I wish to conclude by encouraging the participants of this event, most especially the cyclists, to exhibit a high sense of discipline, teamwork, sportsmanship, and at the same time to enjoy the event to the fullest. With that, I thank you.
Thanks so much, Dr. Mate. I really appreciate your kind words. I'm told that we are joined online by the Chief Executive Officer of the Municipality of Swakopmund, Mr. Alpheus Benjamin. Mr. Benjamin, if I don't mind, I'll come straight to you. Thank you so much for stepping out of your special management committee meeting. We really appreciate you taking the time and happy to hear from you now.
Thank you very much, Mr. de Klerk. Thank you very much, Mr. de Klerk, the executive team of Nedbank, Dr. Audrey Mate. Thank you very much for the opportunity to say a few words at the launch of another Desert Dash that will be taking place in a few weeks. We in Swakopmund are just as excited that after a few difficult months and another year of COVID-induced isolation, we can be part of this unique and wonderful enduring cycling event. You will agree with me that the Nedbank Dash has established itself as an international cycling event like no other. It's not only unique, but it brings international visibility to Namibia, from the beautiful Comas landscape to the oldest desert in the world, and of course, the magnificent Atlantic Ocean. I want to tell you this morning that for the past 2 years, the Municipality of Swakopmund and Nedbank has created a smart partnership that has created community participation support for the Dash, the Nedbank Food Festival. It has also created cycling interest amongst young and old. And it has brought visibility and economic impetus to Swakopmund. We have learned that just the Dash alone bring around about 20 million investment into our economy. So I, on behalf of Council and indeed the entire Swakopmund community, want to express our hearty welcome to all cyclists, their teams and supporters who will be coming to our town. Be rest assured that the city of Swakopmund is ready to receive all participating teams and visitors alike. And I hope that you will come here and also enjoy our world-class hospitality. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin, and thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you in a bit. All the best with the rest of your committee meetings. We look forward again to seeing you at the coast come the 10th, 11th, and 12th of December. So next up, let's go to the organizers, Lema Events, and they're represented this morning by Mr. Leander Borg. Leander, please.
Hello, everybody. Fortunately or unfortunately, I have nobody writing speeches for me. Yeah, just quickly, I think, if there are any questions from the media or whatever, you can shoot a bit afterwards. Just a quick history on how the Dash developed, and I think it's important to say, basically as a response to some of the venomous, negative social media comments by one particular person. When Aidan de Lange started the idea of the Dash 17 years ago. There were like 20 or 40 people. I remember a friend of mine was participating when they did the dry run. So he had the idea, why don't we cycle to Swakopmund? And that first trip was actually an overnight. They actually slept halfway because it was unthinkable to do it non-stop. The next year, they started with a dash. I don't know how many people participated. It wasn't that many. And it took, and most people slept. There were teams, and the teams slept and camped, and it was a big thing to make it to Swakopmund in 24 hours. I think 3 or 4 years later only somebody had the unthinkable idea of doing it solo. So, it wasn't even, we couldn't conceptualize it. What, doing it on your own solo going to Swakopmund? Anyway, now we are 17 years later. We've changed the distance. It was 340 then, and it went to 373, and now we're at 393. So we added another 20 kilometers to it. Yes. This year we have 250 solo riders, absolute record. We thought this is just never going to happen. It just gets more and more and more people. So that's the natural development of these long stage races. And Richard alluded to it. The Desert Dash is not a walk in the park. We want to make it more difficult, not more difficult, but more of a challenge. And the idea is that people develop from a 4-man team to a 2-man team to eventually doing it solo. So the idea of making it longer was not there to punish people. It's just a natural development. You need to do new things. We've been contacted by lots of the extreme cyclists. So this is an idea that's been coming on for years. The actual target was 400 kilometers. So there's been not pressure, but stimulus from outside saying, guys, why don't you make it a bit longer? And we said, okay, really? Anyway, so we've added 20 kilometers. We did cycle the route before. We are cyclists ourselves. It is all doable. Of course, now, and that's something we don't understand why so many people want to ride some of the stages in the middle of the night before the dash. First of all, most of those new routes are in the national park. I hope you've all got your permits, because it's punishable to ride there without a permit. And then, of course, these roads are quite fragile because they're not maintained that often. So it's the Ministry of Environment and Tourism that we're engaging with. We're also engaging with Roads Authority. We actually plan every year, like a week or 2 or 3 before, to have all the roads graded. And the MET is the same, and we've got their commitment they will grade those roads 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days before. So it won't be as bad as it is now. But having said that, so the Dash is definitely, as a solo event this year, it's going to be more of a challenge. So we'll definitely have less people finishing it, I assume. Then I think what is new this year, apart from, another change that we've made is we've changed the format again a bit so that the start is not a mass start. Different reasons for that. One is obviously with COVID, we're trying to reduce numbers, gathering and so on. So we have about 450 teams. So instead of having 1,000 riders start, we will only have 400 odd riders start, because every team, if you're a 4-man team, just one rider starts the first stage now being 100 kilometers. So that reduces a lot of congestion, traffic out of town. The start itself is going to be more manageable. And of course, all the backup vehicles for the 2-man and the solo teams will be well ahead. So actually, the riders will have for the first 100 kilometers that you shouldn't have any dust apart from us official vehicles. So that's a big plus, because I think that was always a bit of the dust was part of it, but it was maybe not something that people were looking forward to. So I think that's a huge improvement. I think we spoke about the charities again, the Desert Dash. We've got Uwe Dickmann coming again. We've got lots of team cycling for good causes. We, as the Desert Dash organizers, give away money. So I think roughly it's about 1.2 million Namibian dollars that is going towards good causes. Then I think one thing is COVID. We mentioned it. We went from, was it 150 or 50 people now to 200 people as far as group gatherings are concerned. The next information will be in middle of November, so I think then we will be able to make a call. Do we have to split the starting times, or maybe we can go back to 500 people or 1,000 people? We'll see. Would be nice, of course. The incident numbers are below 1% currently in Namibia, so it's really, really positive, so let's hope it stays that way. So whatever the COVID regulations are, closer to the time, we'll communicate it to the public, to the race participants, and we will obviously do everything we can to stick within those limits. We have, I think one thing that we have to mention, what is new this year is Trek, this beautiful bicycle, the Super Caliper. I think it's a new technology that everybody's talking about. Is it a hardtail? Is it a fully? And so on. Anyway, this is, I think, close to 80,000 Namibian dollars. Again, that's the lucky draw. So one lucky cyclist at the end will be a lucky draw. And you can win this bike, not this particular one, because obviously depending on your size and so on. But that's courtesy of Manis Bike Maker and Trek. I think that is new. What else is new? I'm not going to go run through all the sponsors. We've got Hollard on board. Hollard is taking over the Bloedkoper water points, so it's nice to have them on board. They've been quite involved in cycling over the years. They're offering insurance to all the riders. We'll communicate that to the riders, so you'll be covered in part for medical evacuation and other things during the race. And then we have all the old people. Langer Heinrich is involved again, Bannerman, of course, Indongo, Slowtown, High Tech, Bokomo, and Hammer Nutrition, Superspa, Plaza Mea, Radio Wave. I mean, hope I didn't forget anybody. Breweries, of course, Coca-Cola. We basically have pretty much the same people on board, and without them, obviously, this event wouldn't be possible. I think that's it from my side. Are there any particular questions, or shall we do it afterwards? Okay, then I'm done. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Leander. Yes, we have quite a significant media contingent, so once we're finished with our live broadcast, we'll take those questions. Jesse, also my good friend Helga. Next up, we'll have some of the co-sponsors, and again, to Richard's earlier point, such a fantastic job that they're doing. First up will be the Fleet and Sales Manager of Indongo Toyota, Derek Bester.
Thank you, Gerard. I've been sitting here in the sun for 30 seconds, and Gerard said, listen, get an umbrella over that man's head. And I realized the Desert Dash is not for the faint-hearted. You know, if you look at the images back here, I've been cycling for 3 years. I can't say very competitive, but I really enjoyed it. I met great people. Indongo Toyota is a very proud sponsor for the 6th consecutive year now of the Desert Dash. With Superspar and Bokomo, great partners. And I've met so many people over this time. You know, we are sponsoring backup vehicles every year, medical backup vehicles. And we just saw that the Desert Dash, you know, with being the longest race through the desert, is a very significant race, you know. And the thing is, if I listen to the people speak here, you know, I know there's some opportunity for podiums here, like here. And I heard that Mr. Chase will not be participating. He will be in one of our cars, I don't know, of his own car. But people, Indongo Toyota will be manning the water hole again this year. You know, we have Mariette on our team. She's the new marketing lady. If you come past there, it's about 60 kilometers out. You can get something to drink, something to eat. I know Nedbank will be offering some of the snacks and the drinks that we give away there. There's also always a great party and music. So, when you go past there, you know you're on the way to the finish. I know it's early, but then you're on your way. Indongo Toyota sponsors 14 riders this year, and it's divided into teams. There's 4 solo riders. I know the one solo rider that rides in our kit is definitely a podium rider. I'm not going to mention his name. You can think about him. He's put in hard hours, so we're looking forward to that. There's 1 4-man team and 3 2-man teams. And you will see the kids when they're training. It looks great. We also supported training groups, mini dashes. We gave away water at certain events that they train with. Then a nice surprise is that Toyota South Africa will have a 4-man team that will come in. You know, they going to participate here. I don't know how good they are, so don't judge us on that. We are in the car business, not we sell cars. We're not into cycling, but we love to support this cause. Once again, cyclists from all over the world will be tested to their limits. You know, the nature's elements in the deserts are very extreme. So we hopefully hope there will be limited downtime, you know, like flat tires, broken chains, and things like that, and injuries. We don't hope that a medical car will have to pick up a few people with broken collarbones and things like that. So, a good luck to all the riders. It's the last weeks of preparation, you know. So physically and mentally, we hope you guys stay sane. It's very uncertain times with COVID. And I think it's going to pay off on race day then. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Derek. You did mention some great footage at the back screen here. So Elzan, Venture Media, thank you so much for supplying just beautiful images that are evocative of the Nedbank Desert Dash. So next up, we'll have the Chief Financial Officer of Weke & Voets, Mr. Greg Chase, to speak to you. Greg, please.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests and all the cyclists out there. Very exciting to be here again. I can't believe it was a year ago that we were last here. 2021 Desert Dash, 51 days to go. On the upside, less stages. On the downside, for some, an extra 20 kilometers. Having said that, I'm really impressed with the Nedbank executives. Jeetje van Graan going for the top step of the podium. And I have it on good authority that Richard Meeks is also going for the top step of the podium in the 60-plus age cat in his 4-man team, so we wish them all the best of luck. Weke & Voets has been involved, represented by Marua Superspar and Grove Superspar for the last couple of years, and we're very proud to be part of this event, this iconic event, and very happy to be a co-sponsor. Unfortunately, we won't be feeding the athletes the night before due to circumstances, so unfortunately that's fallen away. But we are very happy to provide the goodie bags, awesome things in the goodie bags, and we'll be fueling the solo and 2-man riders from the Kuiseb, providing tented cover, bean bags, so they can rest their weary legs as they refuel. Obviously, they don't want to sit there for too long, otherwise they might not want to get back on their bicycles. But yeah, as they enter the third stage, into the big mountains, as night falls, that's when it starts becoming complicated, starts messing with your mind. So I actually remember, and this makes me think of last year's event where I was riding solo with my brothers. The 3 of us were riding together. And into the dark of night, onto the hilly stage, we had some good company. We had Joel Stransky with us, so we chit-chatting with Joel until we dropped him. Then we got to the halfway point, and then there was that new section that they threw in there. And this is something I need to take up with Leander and the organizers, because I want to lodge a protest, and I'm not sure what the statute of limitations is on that. But we kind of got lost behind the tent there in no man's land, and we wandered around for about 10 minutes until we eventually got to this game fence and had to scale this 2-meter game fence with our bicycles. Took them over the fence, managed to find the D1982 again. But I reckon we lost about 10 minutes there. So those 10 minutes would have put us in 8th, 9th, and 10th place instead of 11th, 12th, and 13th place. So I'm confident that this protest will be dealt with appropriately. Having said that, I think, once again, Weke & Voets, very happy to be involved with this event, a well-run event, an iconic event. And we wish all the cyclists a safe ride, and we wish them memorable adventures, and we hope they all get to Swakopmund safely in one piece. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Greg. Appreciate it. Our final official word this morning belongs to Mr. Hubertus Ham. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Bakomo, Namibia. Hubertus.
Thank you, Gernot. Good morning, everybody, distinguished guests, media sponsors, cyclists. Bakomo, Namibia first got involved in the Desert Dash in 2020. And we are proud to announce that we will continue our sponsorship of the halfway house of the Nedbank Desert Dash in 2021 and hopefully beyond. I think last year, just an anecdote in how we got involved. Leander approached us last year. I think it was President, different times in terms of COVID, etc., and some of the other sponsors of the halfway station, like Gondwana last year. I think they were in a situation where they were not able to continue, and he asked us to step in. And I think our group chairman of the France and Dongo group, which we are also part of, bullied me a little bit and said, no, you have to participate. And I think we are lucky that we were bullied into this. It was a tough time. Genevieve and the team, I think it was short notice. We had a lot of chaos in terms of getting it done. But at the end of the day, we were quite happy that we were able to, even in COVID times, get it done. As the host of Checkpoint 2, Bakomo Namibia will again provide riders with the support and the support teams with a sanctuary that will offer shelter, light, nutritional food, and some beverages, and aid as the main junction for technical support and medical assistance throughout the day, night, and early hours of the race. For Bakomo Namibia, providing nutrition as part of a healthy lifestyle is the core of our vision, and cycling encourages a healthy lifestyle and therefore builds a healthy nation as well. With the sponsorship of the halfway station to the value of 350,000. Yeah, I think it broke my budget last year. So, Richard, I didn't get a bonus because of this. I think one underestimates the effort that goes in and also the cost. So at the end of the day, when we were tallying up everything, that was the number that came out. And this year, the sponsorship is probably in the same vicinity, if not more. Although it's a big number, we are happy that we can deepen our involvement in cycling in Namibia. Bakomo Namibia, through the Marathon Sugar brand, is already a sponsor in cycling. We sponsor the physically active youth Marathon Sugar junior cycling team, which forms part of our CSR initiatives and sponsorship investment into cycling. Currently, the investment for the paid junior cycling team amounts to about 480,000 a year. And we as Bakomo also pledge to continue that support for the paid team over the next 3 years. So you can see we have an involvement in cycling in the past, and we will continue with that involvement. Cycling is a financially taxing sport, and not all enthusiasts are given the opportunity to partake in an event like the Nedbank Desert Dash. We are thankful that we have found partners in the sponsors and in the event organizers who share the same values and commitment to the development of cycling in Namibia. And in collaboration with the event organizers of the Nedbank Desert Dash, we are also able to sponsor a 4-man mixed team selected from the PAY Marathon Junior Cycling team to partake in the gruesome 393 kilometers this year. Bakomo Namibia wishes the Nedbank Desert Dash riders the best of health, endurance, and good spirit over the next 52 days of training. To the co-sponsors, we look forward to keeping the name of the Desert Dash high and manifesting our involvement and support in the development of Namibian cycling. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Hubertus. That does conclude our official program this morning. Again, to everybody involved from a co-sponsoring perspective, from an organizing perspective, thank you so much for all of the hard work that you put in, for all of the dedication and the passion, supporting what I agree with all of the speakers is unquestionably one of the most iconic events of our lifetime. So from our end here at Nice Restaurant, we'll say goodbye to our online audience shortly. But thank you so much again to the DB Audio team for just making sure that we're able to bring these live images to you. For your time in watching this, we appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.